Because you're on the
No. How did that get there? Why?
Oh, there we go. We're going to go ahead and get started
the
now.
mute button is here.
Quiet down. Put your iPads away, phones away.
this is just the
Okay, so welcome to day 2 of Writers Week. Who's excited?
Why not?
Lovely writers today. But first, before I do, we owe a couple big things to some people. So, first and foremost, Mr. Anderson for putting this out together. They do this whole thing, and it's a lot of work, and they're awesome. Also, your other English teachers, many English teachers have a hand in putting this week together, making it possible. So, give your English teachers a round of applause. Thank them. Boosters helps make this possible with some monetary donations. Also, Friends of Writers Week contribute to helping make this possible. So, and last but not least, yourself. So give yourselves a round of applause. This wouldn't be possible if you guys were here. So, is this anybody else's first writers week? Any freshmen? Quiet down. It's silence. All my freshmen. Any new kids? I'm the new kid in the English department. This is my first Writers Week, and I have been blown away by the outstanding presentations by students, especially the ones who are up here. I haven't heard yours yet, but I'm excited to hear it. Because it takes a lot to be brave enough to stand up in front of all of your peers and be vulnerable and share your writing. So let's give them a warm welcome. So they're excited to be here, and that you're passionate and playing along in this experiment called Writers Week. So, I'm going to leave now, but before I do, I'm going to introduce you to our first presenter, Sarah Akutsu.
Let's go, Sarah!
During sophomore year, everything was stressful. I had trouble keeping up with my grades, did not have satisfying results with orchestra and solo auditions, and I was just not able to balance everything out mentally. I tried to be like every other good student and got more involved with school activities, but that only led me to loss of trust from my parents. The decline of my grades pushed me to hell of college crisis, which gave me nothing but the realization that my dream of attending Yale University as an economic major actually started as my parents' dream. All I can remember are days when I was silently crying like a with shame and anger. Before I get further into the story, I will be telling you that I like to be surrounded by people who are a couple years older than me. Luckily, one of my desires of being the baby of the group was fulfilled back then. Except, there has been this one problem. I was too innocent. No wonder why I felt uncomfortable when hanging out with them upperclassmen back then, even though they were very close friends of mine. Every joke made by them didn't sound like anything but a blob of words I could not understand. And all I could do was attempt at making that, oh, OMG, that's so funny face, even though I'm not pro at making big expressions. The next thing I would see is people looking at me and responding, "Aw, she's so pure," as other people would try to cover my ears and pretend that I did not hear what apparently was way above PG-13. I felt guilty for making people think that I had to censor many things because a little child right here was sitting in the same room. I did not like this. I was basically an ugly duckling. I did not like being different. So many questions went through my mind as I thought about what was wrong about me. What is so different that makes me so childish? What is going to happen to me when I start attending college? Will I be able to survive through my adulthood? Then I realized it was because I had no guidance of making decisions completely on my own, even when my parents did not agree whatsoever. Getting more aware about my lack of independence was a pure embarrassment as a growing teenager. Junior year was when I started seeing everything differently. I was sitting with my violin while watching the director draw a perfect downhill figure meticulously on the whiteboard. He looked around and smiled. He simply asked, "What is this?" Some made eye contact with one another while others looked around. I'm pretty sure there were people who deeply thought of possible answers too, even though there was only one obvious one. Then we all hesitantly whispered, "A circle?" Yes, it is a circle. But what else does it look like? A perfectly shaped oval? Yeah, a perfect oval. Maybe you know how every square is a rectangle, so every circle would be an oval, right? Well, the same question was asked to young children. You know what kinds of answers they came up with? They said something more than just a circle. Pampas Hill, for instance. He paused for a moment, glancing at some faces of confusion. Then his expression changed. It was like a 13-year-old's mother who is disappointed her baby is growing up. You know, it is really sad. We're all expected to grow up and become mature, but we often don't know what we lose by becoming a genuine adult. I think some parts of us don't necessarily have to grow up. What I want you to do right now is interpret this particular part of the music as winds going back and forth like swish, swish, swish. And so we got back at that part of the piece. I dragged my heavy bow up on stretching, not ready to proceed for another 2 hours of rehearsal. And when we started playing, my sleepy Asian eyelids rose, showing every corner of whites of my eyes. I double-checked and realized what I just heard was the same melody as what we played before the director told us a circle story. After then, I accepted my shoes off. Some elements of stress born from hardcore studying where babies have become the feeling you get when you're that one irresponsible child for once. Instead of analyzing each part of the music into phrases, I came up with scenarios that fit perfectly. I started motivating myself to do well simply by making external rewards instead of carrying a roll numbers and letters. No, I've come to a conclusion that college and major is going to be the first decision I make on my own based on my interest. Although I still have King University economics as my first choice, I decided to keep my field of view wide. Instead of innocent self-love led me to success by having optimistic views. Director proved the story of Ugly Ducklin's future. Indeed, I am an 18-year-old senior in high school, but that will not stop me having a motto, be as childlike as I can. After all, I am a happy girl reaching for successes. Yes, a girl, not a woman. Thank you.
Next is next phrase.
Hi guys, sorry, technical difficulties. Okay, so I'm going to be doing 2 slam poems for you today, and the first one is titled, Who I'm Going to Be. I come from a house that was torn down just to be built back up again. Holes were punched through brick walls, and I fenced in my heart to protect myself from the dangers love brings. Sprouting from a can of beer with ashes on the top, I have been molded into an addictive personality from the influence of an addicted person. Always finding myself with smoke in my brain and a measuring tape around my waist, I identify with the kids who have nowhere to go but up and always get stuck going down. I am a mutt of European countries, a mixture of all things white. I am a student of lower education. I am the product of love. I am the silence after rain falls. I belong to the family of runners, trained to continue no matter how much I wish to stop. I sit with one leg crossed over the other, spine straight. I belong to the practice of yoga, the outcome of my higher self. I am going to make a change. I'm going to start a revolution to complete all of my life goals. I am going to be happy. I am going to be a yogi, a student of higher education, one with nature. I'm sorry, I completely messed up my poem. I'm really sorry. I had a lot of trouble memorizing this one, so we'll just put that away, and I'm going to start my other poem now. Okay. I'm really sorry about that, guys. Okay, the next one is titled Young, and it was influenced by the song Closer by Chainsmokers, so. Okay. With the wind in our hair and the sun on our backs, we run away from the day that is slowly ending, hoping to stop time in its tracks. For every day we get a little bit older, we strive to stay a little bit younger. Windows down, music rushing through our eardrums, the taste of cigarettes still on our lips. A nasty habit, but it gets us high. This is how we want to be, drunk on the horizon, never getting older, driving to our dreams. With bubbles in our brains and butterflies in our spleens, maybe we're a little bit mad, living in every moment, in case the next one is our death. Coffee stains our teeth from nights before a restless sleep, dreaming of anywhere else to be. Fingers strung in one another, legs tangled up, we're all in this together. We're never going to give it away, this feeling of being unstoppable. We go higher than the moon, and when it looks like a toenail, we'll set blankets among the ants and realize just how insignificant we are. Every broken bone, every torn heart, it can't compare to the desperation of a comet falling down from the sky, the only home it's ever known, like the first day you move away from the swing set that tore a hole in your favorite corduroy pants. Because you never want to leave. Emotional attachment is our biggest weakness, but that's what makes us human. Why can't we ever say goodbye without knowing that there will always be a hello? Like the sun at the end of the day, we run away, afraid of endings. But sometimes, you just have to let go. Okay, next up is Maybel.
This is a piece I wrote about dance, and it's basically a letter to myself. So, dear younger Maybel, you may be 7, or 11, or 16, and dance seems like the best part of your life. In these years, its possibilities will seem limitless. You will join many studios and teams, all because for as long as you remember, dance has been what you love. You see that dedication produces results, so you adopt a routine intended to improve performance and self-discipline. Wake up, school, dance, sleep. This simplistic schedule becomes mechanical, and along the way, you start to fixate on wanting to be the best, on reaching this unattainable gold standard. So you will say to yourself, you can do better. It becomes embedded in your practice, and you suddenly find yourself in a cycle where disappointment in your performance is a daily occurrence. Whether it be getting upset over unrefined motions or having a lack in energy, and before you realize, gradual behaviors become habits. Not eating so the lights will accentuate your cheekbones, stretching your legs too far to get nice extensions. You become disillusioned and start going through the motions of dance with a single focus of meeting your own impossibly high expectations. You didn't realize this behavior would catch up to you. So senior year, you will stress fracture your spine, which will force you to stop dancing right before what should have been the pinnacle of your high school dance career. This injury will feel devastating at first, but there's no shame in that. You've devoted a large part of your life to dance, and it's over for now. But keep in mind, there's an opportunity presented in this forced break. Oh, younger Maybel, you won't see it right away, but as time passes, you will realize in the day-to-day routine of twirling under the lights, you got lost. No, you never lost the joy in dancing, but you fell into your own trap of chasing perfection that did not exist. You lost sight of the fact that this was always your sanctuary, the highlight of your day, the place where any problem would melt away, just unable to compete with the mind space needed to perform, and perform well. In its raw form, this freedom of movement gave you a feeling of wholeness and worthiness. This passion is the reason why you continue to dance. Younger Maybel, don't forget that. Your injury will make you just reflect and remind you winning awards is never as fulfilling as simply creating. You will come to realize your life is enriched in many ways because of dance. from learning to appreciate art and music to fostering creativity and artistry. But most of all, you're no longer scared to showcase your choreography to friends or anxious to walk on stage. And after 4 years in high school, you will find yourself standing on stage at Writers' Week, finally a little less afraid to speak in public. Dance has given you so much more than just leaps and turns. It has taught you lessons through the years that you did not even know you had learned yourself. So, younger Maybel, hold this confidence close to your heart. I know you'll feel some self-resentment given the avoidable nature of your injury. But I will tell you now that those feelings are a waste of energy. You subsisted on your love for dance for the last 10 years, and that's why you feel so empty right now. But remember, that was not for nothing. So, to younger Maybel, do not be afraid to stretch and explore new things, and that will give you the same feeling of wholeness and worthiness. And do not be afraid if they take months or years to find and hone, because the process will give you many more meaningful experiences. And when your injury is healed, go back and pirouette enough to fill your heart. Grow from this cautionary tale, and know falling into your own trap will never again be this simple. Smile as you read this. I know you'll find it again. Your friend, Maybel.
Quick shout out to my mom, my youth pastor, and my sister, and my 5th period creative complex. This is called To Whom It May Concern. Dear me, you cannot control everything that has happened to you. You can only control how you react to them. People that you love are going to move away, and you're allowed to be upset, emotional for a period of time, but what you can't do is fall apart. You cannot blame and curse God, accusing him of taking everyone you love away from you. You cannot shut down and shut everyone else out of your life because you are hurting. You can hold yourself together because, yes, it hurts, but you are strong enough to handle it. You will know that these people who have moved on will still love you, and they always will, and that you will be able to see them again. You cannot control other people and when they are taken from you. You are not God, and you do not know his plan. You will take your time to grieve, and you will experience a plethora of emotions, and that's okay because that's normal. You will never forget, and you will always miss them, but you do not need to be a wreck about it for the rest of your life because you deserve to move on and be happy. Dear me, do not get caught up in what could have been or what should have been. It didn't happen, and it could have, and maybe it should have, but it didn't, and that's the reality of the situation. Do not torture yourself with it, with what could have happened had you made a different choice, or what should have happened had this life not screwed you or a friend over. What happened, happened, and you need to accept that and work on moving forward. Not everything is going to work out according to plan, and that's okay because it adds variety to your life. So don't get caught up in making plans and making new plans. Dear me, you are allowed to make mistakes. When God created you, he made you in the image of his son, but you are not perfect. Nobody is. You will never be perfect. You're never going to be able to do anything perfectly and without error because that's impossible. We are created to fail, and we are created to make mistakes, and we are made to bounce back from them and to try again. You are allowed to mess up because that's how you learn and that's how you grow, and you are allowed to make as many mistakes as you can. Dear me, you are strong enough to handle this. Dear future husband, always apologize, even if it's not your fault. I am a woman, and women do not like to be wrong. I will hold my ground, and that I am not wrong until the ends of the earth, because no matter what the facts show, I am not wrong, and I will never be wrong. That's just how it is. Dear future husband, know that I am in fact almost always wrong, and if I tell you that I'm not wrong, I'm probably wrong just by saying that. Stand up for yourself and prove me wrong if you have to. Dear future husband, I have flaws upon flaws. I am loud and obnoxious when I'm with my friends, and I won't say a word around strangers. You're going to get annoyed by my noise level, and you're going to get confused and frustrated when I flip on a dime and I won't speak to anyone. I'm introverted, and I want to be left alone sometimes. Sometimes I want to be surrounded by people. I snort when I laugh too hard, and I wheeze when I laugh too much. I burp loudly in public places, and I was a huge fangirl as a teenager, and I'd probably still be one when we're married. I will cream you every single time at Disney's seen it, and I will never let you forget it. It's a bad habit that I have, and I refuse to get rid of it. I crunch ice every single time I drink water, and it's loud and annoying and probably really bad for my teeth, but I'm never gonna stop doing that. You may not like my bad habits, and I might not like the way you sleep with your socks on, or you might not like the way I crack my knuckles every 30 seconds. And I might not like the way that you check your hair in your phone or bounce your leg up and down restlessly when you're sitting. I might not like it when you grow your hair out and get a man bun. But the biggest part of a relationship is accepting each other for their flaws and loving them anyway. Thank you. Next up is Luke Madden.
So I'm Luke Madden, and I'm a senior here at Fremd, and I wrote this because you'll get the point. A few summers ago, a family friend showed up to our house with fireworks around the 4th of July. Sparklers, bottle rockets, mortars, the works. We're all having a great time as tweens do with fireworks, when my dad picked one out unlike any other. If you know anything about what a mortar looks like, you know it's like a little colorful grenade with a huge fuse. My father did not know anything about what a mortar looked like, so he proceeded to light it in the middle of the driveway. I mean, who could blame him? Our cries of, "Dad, God, no, don't light it like that," were pretty unclear. My family friend, instead of trying to avert the situation, was trying to throw firecrackers on my dad's back while he was bent over. At one point, most realized the situation was hopeless and instead searched recover. I, on the other hand, was not so lucky and was standing about 7 feet away from detonation. Yet instead of getting hurt, I instead experienced a sort of beauty. Time seemingly stood still. There was no sound, no movement. I stood suspended in that moment. I still can vividly picture it all. The color and luminous sparks surrounded by friends and family. Somehow, there's now a permanent snapshot of my life with no camera. A moment I stole in time. I've appropriately labeled these snapshots firework moments that I define as a moment in life that has no other significance other than what you give it. I feel that needs to be shared because they're easy to remember when you know what to look for. High school can be one huge firework moment if you let it, if you decide to give it significance. It's like a book. The words, "My mother is a fish," have no weight on their own. It's what we make of them that's important. So yes, you can read all of Catcher in the Rye, Romeo and Juliet, or Into the Wild, as they are, in which you'll just read 3 books about emotionally angsty teenagers. Or you can give it the purpose, the significance. I think it's fair to assume that the general attitude towards high school is one of distaste from what I've observed in these past few years. But bear with me, emotional angsty teens, because I have the argument that it's not all that bad. I know, AP, college, finals, homework, AP, relationships, clubs, our school looks like a prison, sports, parents and jobs, AP, I get it. But has it all been as bad as the memes make it out to be? Is it really the worst thing to be somewhere with all of your friends, where you are challenged and are exposed to things you never would be otherwise? Even putting aside academics, you have clubs and activities that all just want you to be involved because they think you would enjoy it. Even still, putting aside academics and activities just outside of school, think of all that happens over the course of 4 years. Out of all that, and you want to tell me you can't find one good moment, not one firework moment? Maybe if we all spend time focusing on all the good going on around us, all the good just in this auditorium this week, we could learn just how significant it is to have moments like these on a daily basis. High school doesn't last forever, but moments like that won't stop. The general mood of not just high school, but life is pessimism about the future, jobs, families, or society. I'd like to believe that it isn't all so bad. The very nature of Writers' Week is testament to the good that we can create and preserve, a denial and rejection to the idea that we cannot improve our own well-being. We need to celebrate these testaments and the beauty in them. Be held in the moments of serenity where we are at peace and can step back in years to come and say, yes, I made that moment mine. I stole a bit of time for myself. Thank you.
my mom is here, but my dad could unfortunately not make it. But my mom's here in fact, so shout out to her. And if you're offended by anything I say in this piece, I'm very sorry. And these are based off of true experiences that have happened to me. My father is not a terrorist. My grandmother is not illiterate. My cousin is not perfect. We look at the color of our skin and assume things that aren't true. Even in history, other people of color were also oppressed, yet all we hear about is black and white. I'm not asking you to change your views, but I am asking that you look at the world with open eyes. My father stopped wearing a turban around the time I was 11. I didn't understand why, but as I got older, I realized that the signs were all there. It started when I was 4. We were going to the airport, and he was the only one questioned and sent through extra screening. We missed our flight. This was one of many times that this has happened, but the first time I realized why. When I was 10, we were at the store, and someone had the audacity to come up to him and cuss him out. Get out of our country, you damn terrorist! He grabbed my hand and we walked away from him. Though my father had a stone-cold look on his face, his eyes showed a hurt that that man could never understand. I never understood why people think this. He worked so hard to raise 3 girls, sometimes even giving up his weekends and holidays, just to raise us in the best way ever. How could they think that a man who has never even held a kitchen knife could possibly kill someone? They're too busy looking at the color of his skin and what is on his head to understand that not every person that looks like this is a killer waiting for the right moment to strike. I hope he knows how proud I am of him and my cultural heritage. When I was 6, I brought my grandmother to a special person's day at my event at my school. She spoke to me in her native language. No one came and talked to her the entire time. One of my classmates asked if she didn't know English because they only heard her talking in Punjabi. I knew she understood what they said when she gave me that smile that didn't show in her eyes. When I was 12, I was doing a project about my family, and I told them about how my grandmother grew up on a farm and stopped education at grade 8. People gave me looks of pity as I talked about her. But what they don't realize is that she is smart. She speaks and reads English perfectly fine. She just chooses to speak in her native language. In fact, she tells my cousins and I to speak English to our grandfather to help him improve. She's perfectly capable of driving and holding conversation, but she is assumed illiterate because of her skin and the fact that she speaks in different tongues. I want her to know that I'm honored to be her granddaughter and share this beautiful language. Now, I am 17. My cousin is a sophomore in high school. He's in all honors classes, plays soccer, and goes to sleep at 9, while still maintaining a perfect A. When I tell people this, they tell me he's perfect, but he's not. Every day he has battles going on in his mind, hidden to the world. He worries about getting anything less than an A-, knowing that his friends will make fun of him for it. He has sacrificed family time, breaks, and holidays just to study for something he hasn't even learned yet. Most kids will look at his skin and say it was bound to happen, that it is expected he be perfect. But what they don't realize is that he is a child, still learning about the world. He should be curious to all its wonders, but now he doesn't want to learn anything more. I want him to know that I'm glad to be his cousin, even if he gets an F, and that he is so much more than the color of his skin and the grades he gets. It has always bothered me that people put on a blinder and don't pay attention to other races. They don't realize that there are other people suffering too. Muslim people are attacked, Hispanic people get cussed at, Native American people are ignored, and Asian people are mocked for their accents. So look at the color of our skin and know we are not our stereotypes, because my cousin is flawed, my grandmother is smart, and my father is a good man. Thank you.
About 5 minutes left, and we would love to hear any additional pieces you'd like to share. Is anybody interested in sharing another piece? Luke? Okay. All right, and then anybody else? You got it.
Yeah. This one's a lot shorter. Guess I'm being very preachy lately. Shakespeare tells us that all the world's a stage. that we are all players, we have our entrances and our exits. The stage is an odd thing, though. To say that all the world's a stage is to imply that we are always performing, always telling a story. Yet our stories can't all be told by the stage. I have done an extensive amount of theater at Fremd, and I'll let you in on a little secret I've learned. This world that is presented to you is not what you think it is. The goal isn't always to bring you into the real world, but where these events occur. It's sometimes to bring you into that world, the world of theater. The world where people sing and dance spontaneously. No one has to think of what to say next. Cars fly off into the sunset, and the founding fathers allude to Jay-Z. That is where many I know will have their story told. So if someone told a story about your life right now, how would they do it? How is your life summed up? What makes it you? I know that mine will be told through words, what I have on the page, through writings and poems and just beautiful music, told by those closest to me. Is yours through math? Odd to think, but seriously, is someone's life made up like a math equation to some? Maybe it's through old movies, the kind you get nostalgic about. Is it told through someone's craft, what they physically make, being an example of their dedication and hard work? Is it a memory, a firework moment maybe? Hell, is your story just told through memes? Why not? Is there something so significant to you that you feel you could show it to someone and have them understand perfectly what you are all about? I ask these questions not because I'm an intrusive hypothetical guidance counselor, but because I think it's an excellent way to find what you love, find a passion even. To find something so important to you that you feel your story could be told through it, that you want your story to be told through it. I love to write. At the end of the day, I believe that's how I want it to be told. So, hey, if anyone's looking to write a biography about me, I'll be accepting submissions over these next few months. We may be making exceptions to anyone who would like to tell through interpretive dance or hand puppets. But I encourage you all to find a story, find a way to tell your story, and yeah, didn't really have anything.
Okay, we have 2 minutes left, so we're gonna end here. But thank you so much for your participation. Thanks to all of you. Let's hear it one more time for our presenter. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm here next period and next period.
Did you stop the cameras? We'll take care of that right now.
Stop the recording. Wait, the community.